Hey, it's Shauna K. Let's work in Evoto to change the background of our image. If you are working with seamless paper or you have a backdrop with a baby or a maternity shoot, any of these are going to be able to work with what we're doing today. So I'm going to show you how to take and add a texture or a background to your images really fast in Evoto. What you're going to do when you open it up is you're going to go over to background adjustments. Background adjustments is the third tab on the right hand of the side of the computer. You're going to go over to background changer. Now they have recommended ones, and they also have a space for you to import your own backdrops. I personally have created some backdrops in Photoshop. I've made some in ChatGPT, and I've also bought some on Etsy. So I have a couple different kinds. So first, let's start off with what Evoto has in here. This image, I've already cleaned up the background, and we're going to click on more and just look at the different options. Okay, so let's say we want to go with this red one. We're going to click on it. It's going to change the background. So you can just kind of click through. These are all obviously very dramatic. And then we're going to come back up here to the fabrics. Let's try this gray fabric, for example. Okay, so this one's cool if you're wanting to do like school portraits. But what you can do is you can change the opacity of it. As you see here, it's going to change the color. It's just going to give it a little bit of a texture. Now, I bought some, so we're going to come over to my backgrounds. I'm going to show you some that are going to look better. Let's click on this one down here. So I bought some on Etsy. Now that is much better color to me. Okay, so full opacity, it's gonna look like this, just way too, it looks completely fake. But if you change your opacity, you bring it down to where you actually have more of a texture. So you can see here what it looks like before and then what it looks like after. This is just a fun way to change up what you're doing, especially if you're doing different types of portraits. Maybe you're doing sports photos. You know, it's kind of endless possibilities. Now you can do a couple different things. You can change the size. So like if you love the texture, but you actually want it to be bigger, then you can change the size here and it's going to enlarge that image. You can move it around if your image has different textures in different parts of the image. You can click on original shadow, which is going to give you an AI retained shadow if you have a shadow in the photo. Okay. You can also add shadows. A lot of times these look fake at high opacity, but you can adjust it down to a lower opacity. Now, something I want to show you though is in this right under where you're selecting your backdrop, you're going to have the preserved area. So your preserved area, there are three different options. You have your subject, subject and related objects, and subject, related objects, and non-connected objects. So if you have an image with some props in it, you're going to pick the last one because it's going to look at the whole image and go, okay, well, she's not going to want this little box to be disappear. Okay, so I typically do subject and related objects because it's the safest one as I'm going through quickly and editing, but you can adjust it from there. Now, if it doesn't see something in the image that you want to keep in front of that backdrop, you come over to the little adjustment layer. This is on all of the adjustments in Evoto. And you're going to take and use this brush to just brush it off. Okay, if you do that, as you can see, it's going to change. There we go. It's going to change and take a spot out. Now, what I love is you can go through and copy these settings. Once you get one ready, you can copy them and paste them to your other photos. You can also save the preset. So what I like to do is save my presets. I'll create something like, this would be like seamless paper, you know, red texture. And so we're going to do that. So I would come over here, I would create a new group, and we're going to do seamless paper. And then we would do red texture. Now, I don't want all these different options on here because I don't want them to change if I have already edited the photo and I just want to apply the background. All we want is the background adjustments, okay? So, for example, we're going to go to this photo that we did in a different video. We're going to go over to seamless paper. Let's click this red texture and see how it does. And in this image, we have a box. Okay, so see what it did, but it also took off my background, because in this one, I didn't select the distractions. So that's a way to just kind of remember, hey, you've got to make sure that you have everything selected that you want. But look, now we have our options. So since this image does need a little bit more shadow, we can come back here and say, hey, I want you to retain the shadow, and see how it does. Now, it kind of worked. It kept the shadow under her feet, but I don't like it down here. So we would adjust it from there. But you can also change the opacity of the shadows as well. So I hope this helps give you an idea of how to apply this to textures. Let me show you one more image that I did this on. So I have this maternity image, and right here it needs a little bit more shadowing because she kind of looks like she's floating. But I took this photo in my garage. I just had a backdrop that I had bought from Lowe's, which was just a canvas backdrop that's used for painting. And when I originally did this photo, I had her in all light tones, but it didn't really do anything for her. So I adjusted the colors, I made them a little more dramatic, and in my final images, I actually put it in a more bronze color. So as you can see, it still pulls some of this color, but what I did was I just used this light leather. Now, here's a darker one where you can kind of see the color a little bit better, which is something that I did. And it's an easy way to change something from, oh, this is a nice picture, to, wow, this portrait looks amazing. So I hope that you enjoyed learning how to apply textures and backdrops into Evoto easily. Follow me for more.